Hey yo, Chi-Town, listen up. You are now listening to the best sports talk show in the Windy City. Combs and Fitz. Windy City Sports Talk. Give it up for him. Let's go. From the birds of the lake, there ain't no mistake that Combs and Fitz gonna have the greatest of the hot takes. So hop on the board and join the bandwagon. They gonna keep your feet moving and sometimes how you laughing. So come on through with the sports talk is what you wish. The West know what's up and don't miss. Fitz gibberish. It don't matter what team you playing. Well, what's gonna burn that flame? So put your team on the map. Guess what? We gonna do the same. From Comiskey to Wrigley. Well, from Soldier to UC. Okay. Windy City Sports is where you need to be. But there is no furthermore. You get the jits. So let's get the rest for Combs and Fitz.
What's going on, Windy City Sports Talk fans? It's your boy Brandon Combs, along with my guy Ryan Fitzgibbons. Fitzy, man, we Super Bowl.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Lots of things happened. They
beard.
They don't want
Stratus.
they don't want the Super Bowl to end, so they're all day long. We've been hearing about the Travis Kelce and the Andy Reid stuff, and we've been talking about the not knowing the rules heading into the overtime, which is an insane issue. And it, like, a lot of people are like, oh, it's just one more reason why Shanahan's not that guy. And I'm like, well, there's no blame on the players for not knowing what the hell the rules are of the game they're playing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's something there. So the rules, they get, okay. One team gets the ball, they score. Let's say they score a touchdown, they get the ball first. The other team scores a touchdown. Now, if that team that got the ball first kicks a field goal, they win the game, correct?
Yes. They went back to the Buffalo Bills rule, where the Buffalo Bills complained about not having the ball after allowing a touchdown in overtime. My thing is, don't allow a fucking touchdown in overtime. Yeah. I don't think both teams should get a chance. To me, overtime is overtime. First team to score wins.
Straight, just go with the. Yes. If you want to do it this way, just go with college football rules. So, you don't have to start at the 25, start at the 40 or something like that.
Yeah, start at midfield or something.
Midfield, and then have both teams get a crack at it. And but in that case, I mean, what's your case for not getting the ball first? Because if they score the touchdown there, San Francisco, they're in the driver's seat.
That's why my case for not having the ball first is you always, especially in overtime, you always, if you know you're going to get the ball back, you want to know what you need. That's why in college, they choose defense 100% of the time.
I get that, but in college, they just keep going. That's why I'm saying
each team gets one possession. They don't keep going. Each team gets one possession.
Yeah,
that's why if each team's going to get one possession, you've got to kick.
But the third possession, the team just doesn't win. So on the third possession, the team just doesn't win if they kick a field goal. No, that's the difference. That's the big difference.
But that's why.
Here, if they score a touchdown, then they're in the driver's seat. I mean,
but the way your defense had been playing all day long, when the only time Kansas City was able to drive down every time that it's Kansas City, it's Patrick Mahomes. Like, the guy has become him. You know what I mean? Like, to use an overstated
game, and they still won. He didn't really have a great game at all. I mean, a fumble and a pick,
but he found a way.
A pick, but yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah,
right.
He found a way, and he's Patrick Mahomes, and that's what Patrick Mahomes does. But for me personally, I let my defense go out there, try to stop him, because the only time that they were scoring was when they needed to answer. When their back was against the wall is when Kansas City is at their best. So you go out there and be like, all right, if you don't score here, then I get a chance to beat you.
I get that, but let's say Kansas City gets the ball first and they score a touchdown. You're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
Because even if you go down and score a touchdown, all Kansas City does is have to kick a field goal. That's like 3 first downs. Like,
the Taylor Swift drinking game got me kicked into gear by the fourth quarter into overtime. Well, I mean, I didn't think that they overdid it too much, but
No,
I mean,
I don't think they did either. I don't know why they have to show. I mean, I guess I get why they have to show her. The game's already super popular, though. Show her like 2 or 3 times and move on.
Well, I put together a clip of the Super Bowl in the best plays of the Super Bowl. So let's take a look at that, and then we'll continue to talk.
Right.
Player arrivals are always highly anticipated. How about the Taylor Swift arrival? Ready for it? We are. She's here.
If he makes it 55 yards, 54 was the record. Steve Christie and Moody, the rookie, nails it. A Super Bowl record from 55. Juwan Jennings, trick play. Oh, this ball's in the air for a long time. McCaffrey's able to pull it down, and he's going in for the touchdown. Juwan Jennings with a touchdown pass. Felt like it took forever to get there.
It was scary. It is in time to kick it, and she's going to be here. Will she be the good luck charm for the Kansas City Chiefs like she has been?
And now set up in the red zone. Trying to take the lead. Mahomes goes for it right away. Wide open. Touchdown. Valdez-Scantling.
Hey, as we take a look at Jason, Kelce, JJ, big guys are having a lot of fun.
Going to go back with Juszczyk, the fullback, leading the way as McCaffrey tries to go outside. He lost a yard. Oh, boy, to the Chiefs. That's the call from Shanahan.
Gonna have to throw it outside.
4th down, it's Kittle, and I think he's short.
No, he got it.
You think so? Reaching out.
He got it.
Okay. That was Reed on
Zone.
1 second on the play clock. 2nd and 9. Purdy's pass. Caught. Jennings did it. What an effort breaking tackles. Now he's thrown for a touchdown. Looking. Rolling out. Mahomes in trouble. And he's taken down at the 6. It's Hargrave.
Oh, the effort on this D-line.
Makes that stop and brings out Butker now to try to tie it from 24 yards. And it is. Warner brings him down, but it's a big first down for the Chiefs. The finish with New England and Seattle. Coming down to the last plays.
Mahomes.
Low snap. Launches end zone, incomplete.
That was smart. See how quick he got rid of it? Guess how much time he gave himself.
Only to send the game.
No way it ends like this, does it?
To overtime. Butker's kick is good.
Only feel the number of people out there being like, what's going on?
1st and goal. Mahomes flings it. It's there! Hardman! Jackpot! Kansas!
Chiefs Kingdom! Y'all hear this? We've been fighting for all right all day. For him personally, statistical wise, but when the big matters came, or the big moments came, he mattered, and he mattered.
So there was the Super Bowl highlights. Did you like it, or
you had a needle in all the different Taylor Swift cut twos. They did a lot of pregame cut twos. I didn't want. Well, obviously we were.
That's
doing
where a lot of those came from.
It's a pregame.
I mean, look, she was the big attraction. Taylor Swift's been to more Super Bowls than the Cowboys since 1996.
She sure has.
I mean, what is Taylor Swift? There was a football game going on during the Taylor Swift, and Usher was performing as well at Taylor Swift's party. So
yes, there just so happened to be
a football game there.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it should bother me more. I think the people wearing diapers at her concerts so they can listen to her songs all the way through, it affected me more than her being at the Super Bowl and all this. Wasn't the first game she watched the Bears game where they clobbered the Bears?
I think so.
I think it was one of the first. Yeah. So kind of maybe it pissed me off a little bit there just because fuck you, Chiefs. But
I was thinking maybe you could play the drinking game again, Shanna. You want me to play it one more time? Projected that the Super Bowl will have the moon landing numbers, so you can't blame the NFL.
Yeah.
Look, all of this stuff, I think it's kind of fitting that the Niners lost in their 13th quarter of playoff football. The way the number 13 had been going around.
Yeah.
I mean,
30-13, yeah.
The 49ers, I knew they were going to lose when they missed that extra point. When that extra point got blocked, I was like, oh, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
It's just bad because there's
Even
not there's
Yeah, and if
there's
the Chiefs
nothing.
get a touchdown, then they have to get 4. I mean, yeah, it was just. Yeah, and then Jeremiah makes a good point. Like, you gave Mahomes 4 downs for a whole possession. I get that, but if he doesn't get the 4th down, the game's over.
Did you see what happened in the 4th quarter? A lot of people missed it. I saw the video. I'm trying to go back and watch the tape. I haven't gone back to the whole game, but I saw the video. When there's a minute 39 to go, Mahomes goes on a 2-yard run.
Mm-hmm.
And it was 1st and 10. He goes on that 2-yard run. They reset the ball, and it's 1st and 10 again. And like nobody noticed. So I've got to go rewatch it and see if that's real or if it's cut.
Yeah.
But that's what they showed, and I was like, man,
is this real?
Well, they made it look pretty damn real. But I mean, you can do a lot of stuff with AI now. You can do a lot of stuff with video editing and clipping and all of that stuff. If you're good enough with a computer, you can make things look like other things. You can make people look dumb. Like, I mean, you could do all sorts of stuff.
Baby Ruth. What?
But no, I don't know. It was a great Super Bowl. Great game.
The beginning was a little slow. It was a little slow. Defense figured in more. Like that the Chiefs have their defense from last year or a couple years ago. They don't win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
they just don't. Their defense was pretty good, and they stood up when they could. I mean, I think you're right. I think San Francisco outplayed the Chiefs defense. I really do. They were winning the game in the trenches on both sides, really, for most of the game. Looks like both defenses got gassed by the end of the game, though, which happens a lot. It's a lot harder to stop a team than it is to be on offense. It's a lot harder to be on defense. It just is. And they both seemed gassed. I thought the Chiefs defense was more gassed. I mean, you got to make one of those 3rd downs if you're San Francisco. There's too many missed opportunities on 3rd down. Too many plays that are pretty cute. I think there was one play where they threw a tight end screen on a 3rd down at one point where it was like no chance they're going to make it. Maybe that was a 2nd down. I'd have to look back at the tape. I thought Purdy had a great game. Purdy's the MVP if they win the game. No doubt. He had a pretty good game. I don't think he did a lot of bad. There were some throws he missed, but I think Mahomes missed just as many. I mean, I know the completion percentage for Mahomes was a shade better, but I thought Mahomes missed a lot of like really easy passes, especially earlier in the game. Like veteran teams, they acted like a veteran team, and 49ers did not acted like a young team. They really did.
Yeah, no, they definitely did. Look, I'm not out on Shanahan like a lot of people are after this football game. I thought Shanahan actually called a really good game. I thought that the defense showed up. I felt like the San Francisco 49ers defense dominated the Kansas City Chiefs in the first 3.5 quarters of this football game. They were throwing around that offensive line like it was nothing. They were shutting down Mahomes. They were doing a great job of staying outside on the ends and forcing him inside and keeping him in the pocket and forcing him to throw to receivers that quite frankly just have not had a good year. So I felt like they actually did a really good job. But look, Mahomes is that dude. I told you yesterday that for me personally, if Mahomes wins that game, then he shot up to number 2 for me on the all-time list. And I don't know how you can even argue against it at this point. The guy has 6 seasons. He's been to 6 AFC title games. He's been to 4 Super Bowls, and he's won 3 of them.
Yeah, no, I'm in full agreement there. He was, like I said, he didn't even have probably had a very good game to
Yeah.
good. Did not have a great game at all. And still to have that ability to do that, just didn't really have it for most of the game.
Yes, keep running the ball. I was
Just
yelling
keep
at my
running the
TV.
ball. Yeah, I mean, only 80 yards for McCaffrey. I know he had 80, but a good 30 yards was that one play.
And that's what I said yesterday during our pregame show.
Too.
The way that teams beat themselves against the Kansas City Chiefs is they go away from the run.
And Shanahan's done this before.
Yeah.
Where he's gone away from the run. The Ravens 6 rushes.
Yeah.
With their running backs.
But Purdy still had a good game. Purdy, I mean, he was 25 of 38 or something like that, 23 of 38, but he didn't throw an interception. Had a touchdown pass, had 200 plus yards passing.
Had some nice passes dropping into the zone. Yeah. No,
absolutely.
I'm a believer, and I was one of his toughest critics. You can go back to a lot of shows where I said he didn't have the arm strength. He does. He has just enough. In that way, he sort of reminds me, even though I think Breeze had a much better arm, because Breeze had a better arm than people gave him credit for. But it's like sort of like Breeze, just enough, can run just enough, is just tall enough. He might be a little bit taller than Breeze was. Has just enough arm and, has smarts. He can really anticipate, did some good anticipatory passes, not the ones that Tony Romo pointed out. Keep going with that. You keep running that out there.
How
Jim
bad?
Nance didn't know that was a first down that George Kittle got there.
How bad was that broadcast?
He got it by 1.5 yards.
I don't know if you noticed, but towards the end of that that clip, the little video I made. So at the end of the fourth quarter, when he goes to throw that ball that gets deflected in the corner of the end zone, Tony Romo tries to go for the Super Bowl, like his big call, you know what I mean, over Jim Nance, who's the play-by-play guy, right? So he goes for the call for the Super Bowl. And then in overtime, as he's throwing that pass, Jim Nance is making the call, and you hear Tony Romo in the background for the Super Bowl. It was like he got it in there real quick. It was the funniest thing. I'm like, dude, you're not like, and you're terrible at your job. Like he's god awful at his job.
He was okay in the beginning too. He's gotten worse.
He's brutal.
And imagine if someone did that to Hawk Harrelson. They'd be doing the games from 35th and Wentworth the next game.
Yeah,
he would have booted him out of the booth. I mean, look at Steve Stone had to do it from basically 35th and Wentworth after they had their little tiff. But yeah, I mean, you don't. That's like a no. Like you want to be on the highlight reel, basically.
Right. It was really bad, and he's just like, first of all, like you can see him in the background. And it's like, it's not your time, Tony. It's not like it's like he knew what he wanted the call to be. And he was just like, he had it in his head that was going to happen. No matter when it happened, it was going to happen. It was going to happen his way. And I'm just, that broadcast was awful last night. Rumor is that it was Jim Nance's last call. He's going to continue to do golf. But rumor has it that it was his last NFL call, which thank God. And hopefully he takes Tony Romo with him, because I mean, just terrible. I mean, he's so bad. There was actually a prop bet on whether or not he said Jim Nance's name first or Taylor Swift's name first on the broadcast. Like that was an actual prop bet.
He doesn't talk to, America or fans. He talks to Jim. Yeah, Jim, I'll tell you this. And it just doesn't happen. Like even Collinsworth, he's not saying L the whole broadcast. It's like
or when there was a point where with the muffed punt, right? That gave Kansas City that opportunity deep in the zone. And the ball hits off of the player of San Francisco. So the guy returning the punt goes to try to grab it. And Nance is like, well, why did he try to grab it? And Romo's like, no, he was actually smart to try to grab it there because he sees it hit the leg. He's doing this during the replay and he sees it hit the leg. And instead of just being like, oh, there it is right there. It actually hits the guy's leg. He's just like, oh, no. He tries to be the smartest guy in the room. Oh, he was actually smart to try to grab it, Jim.
You jumped on the ball.
Yeah, it was a terrible. Yeah.
You're
It's a bad play.
Groceries.
It's a bad play. And I mean, you've got to be looking at your returner if you're running that way to set up a block. You've got to be looking at him for him to wave you off to tell you to get away from the fucking ball.
Yeah. Jeremiah Murray forgot Tom Brady. Mahomes is chasing MJ. It's like the great players of the 90s not winning rings because Michael wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to put him in that stratosphere.
How can you not?
It's hard.
How can you not?
He only
six
had
seasons.
He only
all
had
six in the AFC title game.
He had a very good game. They still won. He didn't even have to have a great game.
Yeah,
for him. I mean, he's a very.
This was the worst Kansas City Chiefs team that he's had since he's been in the league, by far. By far.
He didn't really have a line when they played Tampa. That was a
but they had Tyreek Hill. They had a whole lot of stuff. And his only loss is to Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, that's why I still have him at number 2 and not at number 1. I mean, his only loss in the Super Bowl was to the guy I got at number 1.
Sustain it. He's got to sustain it. You know.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens here. Let's see if Andy Reid moves on. I don't think he will. But let's see if he does, and Matt Nagy's his coach. Let's see if in that clip I played the other day, or yesterday, he basically says he needs to have a good team around him. I mean, he did luck out having Andy Reid as his coach, the best offensive mind in the, since maybe I don't know, Walsh from the Niners. Right. And maybe Shanahan's the next heir apparent to that. But
so a lot of people, like we were talking earlier about a lot of people having a problem with Taylor Swift, and Taylor Swift has said twice no to the NFL now about doing a halftime show. And there's something there. There's something behind it. And then this got caught on tape, and they didn't really say much about it. But this thing, it looks like an uncomfortable conversation. Actually, it looks like Taylor Swift is actually yelling at him at some point. Not, I wouldn't say yelling, but like telling him off in a certain way. Check this out.
Well, great job by Tracy Wilson. There we see Taylor Swift and Roger Goodell up in the booth, and Roger Goodell's going, "Thank you so much." Wow, I'm so glad and everything. But listen.
See, I like the way she's moving her head. Like, look, man, I've been yelled at by my wife a lot. I know what that head movement means.
Stop that.
I know what that head movement means. That does not look like a good conversation.
Yeah, I mean, she could just be nervous. Plus, he's a freaking melted boob candle with hair, like I like to say. I mean, it doesn't look like a comfortable conversation.
It definitely looks like he's saying something and she's saying no to it. Shanna says, well, those performers pay to perform at halftime. NFL pays them nothing. I mean, I don't know if I'm a performer, I don't know why I would do that. I've heard a lot of people say this. I just don't know how much I believe that. What does Usher, who's about to go on another world tour, need the NFL halftime for?
He needs to do some working out. He wasn't really moving that great.
New Kids on the Block did just fine when they did their comeback tour, and they didn't go to the Super Bowl halftime show. That's what I don't know. I don't necessarily believe that the NFL pays the performers nothing. I think that there's some sort of kickback for it.
Well, there's gotta be. I mean, how many viewers was there? Like moonland,
millions,
viewership,
millions of people watching,
something like that, maybe.
But if you put on a bad performance, like yes, how did you rate the halftime show yesterday? I mean, I rated it good, not great. I thought it was good, but it wasn't great.
It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like really a couple years ago where you had Eminem, Dr. Dre.
Yeah,
that was a great halftime show. Prince was a great halftime show.
Yeah,
Michael Jackson, great halftime show. Like they've had some great halftime shows.
The
It was
Who.
just a good one. The Who,
Yeah.
great halftime show. U2, I think, did one as well. That was another great halftime show.
Springsteen did a really good one.
Yeah.
10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago.
There's been some great ones. That was just a good one. So I'm not so sure that because how many of these perform? How many celebrities will go somewhere without getting paid for it?
Yeah, I know. That's a lot of work. Plus,
Bruno
you get a lot
Mars,
of
yeah,
eyeballs.
Jeremiah
They
Murray.
love the eyeballs. Yeah,
Yeah.
Bruno Mars. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And I like Bruno Mars. That's the thing.
I do too.
like that kind of music. So I just can't get into Usher, the whole Usher thing.
Michelle was getting into it. Michelle was up and dancing. She was reliving she was reliving her high school years or something. I was sitting on the couch like, oh my
What is
word.
happening here?
I actually took a video of it, but she said if I ever show anybody, she would murder me. So
Well, I got the video right here.
I can't. Yeah,
I'm kidding.
there's no way.
Is that one of the times in your relationship where you're like, oh, okay. This
I
is
sent
a
it-
side of
yeah.
you I've never seen.
I sent it to her just so she could see what I was watching afterwards. And it was one of those moments you could see her watching it where she was like, oh, that's what I was doing. Okay.
Oh my
I feel
God.
like in her head, she was on stage and she was performing
Yes.
just as well as they were on stage.
Yeah, it's one of those.
And I believe that that's what it did for a lot of people, a lot of Usher fans. I believe that's what it took them back to that. But if you're not a real big like Usher, like, you know, so like I liked Usher back in the day. I loved the Alicia Keys thing. Boy, did he get up and close with Alicia Keys yesterday, man. Boy, oh boy. Like she got home, man, and her husband was probably like, we need to have a chat.
What happened to all that?
Yeah. So I knew you were gonna go sing with him, but I didn't know he was gonna finger you on stage. Like I didn't know that this was gonna happen. And that's basically what happened.
It was like the Oscars with Bradley Cooper and what's her name? That did The Star Is Born. You ever see that?
Oh yes, Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga, and they were like, and then like Bradley Cooper's wife is like right there. It's like, what is happening here? Does she like to watch or?
Yeah. Look, man, celebrities are weird. Vince McMahon. I mean, it's you know.
That was Bradley Cooper's wife. That's actual footage from the Oscars. Sitting on her swing. You care?
I don't know. I don't yeah. But no, for me it was good but not great. Super Bowl halftime show. Super Bowl itself was great. Another overtime Super Bowl, only the second one in history. You know, I'm not one to I'm not a hey, this is scripted, blah 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 blah. Trust me, I do believe that there is some belief sometimes that hey, the numbers look like everything leads Vegas's way, and it's usually because of a bad call by a ref. Vegas lost a ton of money last night on the Super Bowl, by the way. Vegas needed the Niners to win, and with the Chiefs winning, Vegas lost a ton of money last night.
I feel so sorry for them losing money. I feel so sorry when the house loses money. Fuck them.
Shanna says, like Amber Heard taking a crap on Johnny's bed. Take a crap on my pillow. So, oh God.
Did you read the comment before you put it up there?
No, I didn't.
Ben's probably lost his mind during that halftime show.
Yes.
Oh my God. It was, I mean, it's like Usher.
He texted Alicia Keys afterwards.
How about anybody current? I mean, Usher just doesn't seem current right now. I mean, what has Usher done in the last 20 years or 15?
I think he's trying to do another. There's something about he's going on another world tour or some shit.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know. But now look, the focus for Chicago fans is what do the Bears do in the draft now? That's going to be the question for the next 2 months. And you put together a nice video, and I have a couple of clips from that video. I want if you didn't get a chance to hear this on the pregame show yesterday at the beginning, this is actually you got
what I like about these other teams, like the Chiefs, the Bears don't find these guys. You never hear they got the guy in the 7th round and he's leading the league in.
Yeah,
right. I don't know what's going on with the Bears. People ask me, "Oh, what do you think? Who they should take?" It don't matter. Don't matter who they take, because Justin Fields, he'll probably leave and go win a Super Bowl somewhere. So if you go to the Bears organization, you're doomed.
I mean, I'm glad I don't have to get paid to make those decisions.
They once passed on you.
Yeah, I know, but Justin Fields plays great football as well, and so I'm glad I'm not paid to make those decisions. But I think either way, they're in a great position for the future.
Yeah.
Please don't ever go to the Bears. Please don't ever join the Bears.
Whatever happens, man. I grew up a Bears fan, man. Relax.
So there you go. You got George Kittle, somebody begging him not to go to the Bears. You got Sebastian Maniscalco, a great comedian from Chicago here. Had a lot of really good points in that interview. And then Kermit the Frog also on interview, talking about Justin Fields as well. Look, Sebastian said the same thing that I've said. We're going to watch Justin Fields go somewhere else and win a Super Bowl. Quarterbacks don't come to Chicago to be great quarterbacks. It's just not what happens. And again, I don't know. Just get it right is the way that I'm leaning. There's all sorts of rumors. I had to send it to you the other day on Saturday because I got breaking news that the Bears need a haul for the number 1 overall pick. I don't know how much breaking news that actually is, but it was an update that came to my phone. So I sent you the screenshot and was like, hey, guess what? Breaking news.
We need to fill 24 hours of time on one sport or whatever.
But now Justin Fields is rumored for Pittsburgh. He's rumored for Washington. He's been rumored for New England. He's been rumored for about 5 different teams. Atlanta is another one. Been rumored for about 5 different teams. If Justin Fields wasn't a guy that teams could build around, why would teams that need a quarterback be looking to trade for him? Is my question to those people out there that are Justin Fields doubters. If you have Bo Nix still available in the draft and you're saying, no, I'm going to go with Justin Fields, that means something. If you've got Michael Penix Jr. still available in the draft and you're like, no, give me Justin Fields, that means something. Because you could take a young quarterback, you could take a guy and try to develop him and do all the things that most franchises try to do, but they're trying to come and get your guy. So what do you think the Bears need to get in return for Justin Fields? Can they get a 1st-round draft pick? Does it have to? With all these teams that are interested, can you play them against one another and get something big?
I mean, maybe you can. I mean, he can hit the ground running, game 1. You don't have to worry about that. He's going into a new offensive coordinator no matter what happens next year. I think the softest landing spot would be that Pittsburgh team. Tell you the truth, maybe even softer than Atlanta. But Atlanta looks good too. That's kind of some scary stuff there.
Seth Rollins was really good on Radio Row for the Super Bowl. He actually knew his stuff, which was really surprising. I didn't even know he was a Bears fan.
Really in depth too.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if you're going to go this way, go that way. If you're going to go that way, kind of around where I am at on it. Maybe leans a little bit more Fields, but kind of where I'm at. Like, if they get Caleb Williams, you're right. Like, let's just get it right. I need a 2nd-round pick or better.
Yeah.
If I get a 2nd-round pick, maybe throw in a 5th or something like that.
See, I think that would be more news. The Bears need a haul in order to get rid of Justin Fields. Like,
that would be news. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that to me would be more surprising than the Bears need a haul for the number 1 overall pick. Now, could that just be? It's before the draft. It's before free agency. So everything that you hear now is fluff. It's just fluff. I mean, it's a team putting it out there. I wouldn't be surprised if it was, Ryan Poles out there. Hey, if you want to go ahead and report this, I'm gonna need a haul for the over one pick. I'm probably taking Caleb Williams. Now all of a sudden, Washington's shit. We gotta do something here. New England, oh shit. All right, we gotta do something here. They're going with Caleb Williams. What are we gonna do? What do we gotta do? You get these guys moving in circles. So either A, they get overbid for the number one pick, or B, they overbid for Justin Fields, which is why I say the Bears are in a good situation no matter which way they go with it.
Yeah, I mean, not that this means anything. Adam Schefter said that Redskins aren't going to, try to get up to number one. I don't know if people are falling.
No, they're going to try to get Fields.
You think so? Well, then what are they giving you, the second round pick that they got from you, or their second round pick, or both? I mean, both. That would be pretty. Those are really valuable picks because
the way that you do it, if you're the Bears, and what you can do to the Washington Redskins is you take both of their second round picks this year, maybe even a fourth this year. You take a conditional second round pick next year that turns into the number one if he takes you to the playoffs this year. That's what you do, or a certain amount of game.
That's a lot.
Got to have a conditional second round pick, but Washington. All right, if you don't want to do that, guess what? New England wants them to. Atlanta wants them to. So here you go.
Yeah, you put them against each other. Pittsburgh wants them to.
Exactly.
That's
so now all of a sudden all these teams are coming out that he's out there. You've got to, if you're going to trade Justin Fields, you better get the best available deal, man. I don't want to hear about it, next year being like, oh yeah, well, Adam Schefter is reporting the Bears could have gotten this, but they moved too quickly, and they just, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear the Bears somehow had to trade up. They traded with themselves so they could draft, Drake May. Like, I don't want to hear any of this.
It seems like his price has gone up since the end of the season. I feel like that it's definitely trending. Like, people were saying third round pick at one point in the season. I was like, you got to get better than that.
Magic Johnson told Kingsbury that if he comes as the OC, they will get him whatever quarterback he wants. It was part of the draw to get him away from Vegas and a giant bag of money. Michael Buckheiser, who wants a guy that has 41-2 in 40 games? I don't know what that is. Turnovers, maybe? Does he have 41 turnovers in 40 games? I don't know.
40 games. I thought he's only played 38 games, but yeah, I mean, it's close. He does have a lot. I don't know if all those are turnovers or if some of those were fumbles. Ryan Poles will end up with a bag of crap.
See, I disagree with that. Poles is really smart. I think Poles knows what he's doing. If Poles ends up with a bag of crap, it'll be a wide receiver that he drafts in the third or fourth round. That'll be the bag of crap that Poles winds up with. He's a bad talent of wide receiver evaluator. he's very bad. I don't know.
I need a second rounder or better at this point. If they have 3 number one picks.
Breaking news: Fitz, a fumble is a turnover.
Yeah, I get that. I don't know if that's just fumbles that the other team didn't get. If it is a turnover, then you're right. Okay, you got it.
Yeah, but
I mean, go look at Josh Allen's year, Buck.
Yeah,
one of the best quarterbacks.
Do you want Josh Allen? Yes. Do you want Jalen Hurts? Yes. These guys led the league in turnovers. It's you people that want quarterbacks that go for it. They're going to turn the ball over. You know who had less interceptions than Patrick Mahomes this year? Justin Fields. So you talk about turnovers all you want. It's not it's not about just it's about what the kid can do in a situation where you put him in a situation to succeed. He's never had that in Chicago. And those people that like Buck, who only watch Kansas City Chiefs games and don't really care about the rest of the NFL, and he just wants to look at the numbers in ESPN stat column, wouldn't understand that. But when you actually watch the games and you see the things that this kid can do, you see him dropping dimes in the snow, in week 17 this year. I mean, just dart after dart after dart in the snow. The kid can throw the ball. The kid can also keep plays alive. And how many times, were some of those turnovers were because he's running out of the pocket and running away for his life because they had no offensive line? Or how many of those, turnovers are on interceptions because they're running the same damn play for the fourth straight fucking time in play calls because the worst offensive coordinator in the history of offensive coordinators.
Did they ever take that interception back? That wasn't an interception. That literally hit the ground.
No.
They didn't, and then
and that's another one too. Like God, don't even get me started. Anyway, if you give him credit for being a runner, you also have to count his fumbles the same as of course you count his fumbles the same as interceptions.
Oh, I counted them. I just didn't know if they were fumbles or because I know he's fumbled pretty much every.
But if you fumble and you get the ball back, is that considered a turnover?
No,
right?
it's not. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to look at it. Buck could be right. I think it's close to that. The numbers are close to that. Yeah.
But it's not just about that. When you look at stuff like that with the quarterback, you got to go beyond the numbers. You've got to watch beyond the numbers. How many interceptions were off of tipped passes? How many fumbles were because he had to break containment? How many of them were strip sacks from a blind side that he didn't see coming? Those are the things you have to take into account, but you also have to take into account what he's doing with what he's doing it with. And you don't look that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did not look up the shocker. I did not look up the stats. Someone said it on our live today.
It could be right. I mean, it's around there. He has 38 starts, though. That's what I know. He's played 38 games. I think it's 38 starts he's had.
Yeah. 38 games. This kid is going to be something, and somebody's going to take it. There's whether it's Atlanta, whether it's Pittsburgh, whether it's Washington, whether it's the Patriots, whoever it is that ends up with this kid, they're going to win with him. The Patriots maybe not right away. The Atlanta Falcons become a top 3 team in the NFC with Justin Fields next year.
Yeah, around there. I mean, they got a lot there. Their defense is pretty good.
Yes.
They have a veteran offensive line.
Even Washington with Terry McLaurin and the weapons that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. If he goes to Buck says he needs to go to Dallas. Well, why would they want him? He's got 40 turnovers in 41 games, Buck. He needs to go to he would absolutely win a Super Bowl in Dallas. He'd win multiple Super Bowls in Dallas. You've got to, with Justin Fields, whatever you do, you've got to get a package for him. It's not just, cut and dry. Hey, get whatever you can for this kid. You've got to get a package back from. If you find out that, hey, we're going to draft Caleb Williams, and then you're like, oh yeah, they traded Justin Fields for just 1 3rd-round pick. Are you going to be okay with that?
No, I'm not going to be okay with that. I'm not going to be okay with that because, I mean, the thing that worries me about Caleb Williams the most is I don't know if he's ready to hit the ground running, even with a team with this many draft picks, with this much cap space. I don't know if he's that guy. And the Bears, of course, they're a top 5 team.
The Bears were a playoff caliber team this year. Even when I was listening to Chris Long said the same thing. They were a playoff caliber team. Chris Long thought that the Bears had a shot. He didn't say they would beat them necessarily, but would you not pick them to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the time with the way that they were playing at the end of the year and the way their defense was? Would you have not picked them to be in a game with the Green Bay Packers, who, yes, they lost to in week 18, but it was a close game and it was poor play calling. would you have not said that, hey, they could hang in there with a team like the only team I think that really maybe like, San Francisco in the NFC this year was the only real team that you're like, yeah, I don't
the
think anybody
Eagles
beats
were
them. They could have beat the
bad.
Eagles.
And they had
Absolutely.
Detroit's number. They had Detroit's number. I mean, they beat up Detroit for 7.5 quarters or 7 3/4 quarters.
See, yeah, I mean, the Cowboys too. I mean,
yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Everybody beats the Cowboys in the playoffs. You, me, and Buck and Jeremiah Murray could beat the Cowboys in the playoffs.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Get the pads on.
All right. Well, look, it's about time for my favorite time of the year. It's about time for baseball to come up. And we're going to be talking baseball as the weeks go on. Every week we're going to start breaking down a different division as well. We'll also still talk Bears and we'll talk, the draft stuff and all that stuff. But it's time to transition a little bit. What did you think about the rendering of new White Sox Stadium?
I thought it was. I usually don't like the renderings. I mean, I don't think the renderings of the Bears didn't like knock me off.
Yeah,
knock me out. But the renderings of Sox Park, fucking fantastic. And
I like the fact that they kept
too.
the pinwheels in the outfield.
Yeah.
Are you okay with them just being on pedestals instead of being on the scoreboard?
I would have liked a scoreboard a lot better. But,
yeah, me too.
I mean, they look kind of out of place, but. I mean, I don't think this is going to be the field in the end. It's just a rendering, so it could change. But
right,
it looks beautiful, man. I don't know how you can't like it facing the city. They should have faced the other park towards the city.
Well, I like the fact that the Sears Tower is out of left field. You've got all of the rest of these downtown skyscrapers out there. I like this. I mean, look, this is a daytime photo as well. Could you imagine what this thing's going to look like at nighttime? 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, pitch black with all of the lights of downtown. I mean, this is going to be a
corporate
beautiful
too. I mean, they could put a banner up on one of those buildings for Toyota or whatever. Corporate money that'll come in. The popularity. This is the only way they don't leave Chicago. This is the only way they don't leave Chicago.
What's on the jumbo screen that's bigger than the skyline?
You mean the Robert Jr.? He won't be playing here. They won't be able to afford him.
No, I think he's just talking about the size of the jumbotron.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
It is a pretty big screen. But here's the thing with that is that I don't have that photo. On the other side of it, they're planning another screen, and there's like a field out there where people can come and they can watch the game outside of the stadium. And there's another screen on the other side of that. And so I think part of the allure too is the people inside of the corporate buildings, like the Sears Tower, which I don't know what's it called now, Willis Tower.
Willis Tower,
It'll always be the Sears Tower, just like this is going to be Comiskey Park to me as well. All the people that are out there, they can see the screen from there. That's kind of the allure of everything. There's going to be a entertainment district right outside the stadium. It's going to be a great place to be. Look, I'm not a diehard White Sox fan like you are, but this will definitely be a ballpark that would make me be there, 4 or 5 times a year, regardless of how good the baseball team is doing.
Yeah, for sure. And you've come around on it a little bit. I mean, not that you were totally against it the other week, but I think, looking at pictures does help, especially like how it's going to fit in there. And you're still right. There's a lot of concerns. Like, how is there going to be? I don't think I'll take a lot of car rides there. We got a extra coming in that's going to stop right at Roosevelt right there. So I can walk right to the game. So I'm not really worried so much, but there is some worry about parking, how it's going to fit, but everything's just lining up.
And let's be sure. I was never, against the stadium. I don't think it's Jerry Reinsdorf, and Jerry Reinsdorf's thinking is if I get a new stadium, I'll get more people to come to the stadium, which in an essence, he's kind of right, because you'll get more people to the stadium just because of the ambiance of it. But you're not going to attract your everyday fans like you think you're going to attract with a 60-win team. That was my objection to the new field. It wasn't the fact get a new ballpark. I'm all for it, especially how I am about the city of Chicago. I love this city. I think it's the most beautiful city in the world, and I think that White Sox fan and this city deserve for that franchise to be a winner. That's why I'm for me, I'm like, yeah, great, new stadium, cool. What are you going to do to put a winner inside of it?
I think this is a guy that really cares somewhat about his legacy. I mean, he's got to care to do something like this. I think this is his going away party.
It's actually in downtown, Buck. Yeah, it's in the South Loop.
Yeah, it's basically
so it's
not far from the Loop, like 12 blocks. I mean,
yeah, and I mean,
Roosevelt is 1,200.
You could take the Metro, right to the game,
or a couple L. I think you can take an L or two.
Yeah,
I mean,
you could take
connect. So.
You could take some, but I mean, look, for me, I don't care how hard or easy it is to get out of baseball stadium. I'll still drive. Like, I don't. To me, that doesn't matter. For baseball, it doesn't matter. For football, it matters. For baseball, for me, it doesn't matter. I'll still drive to a game. I'll go out there and tailgate. I'll do all the stuff. So the Bears want to leave the city, but the Sox want to stay. Why? What's the draw to downtown? Well, downtown's beautiful. This one's right off the. Is it off the river or off the lake?
The river.
It's off the river.
The river's right there.
Yep.
It's a great area.
Yeah,
this is not the first time. This isn't coming out of right field or anything like that. Pun intended. Yeah. They've been talking about this a while. There's a buying organization that came to Jerry to buy him, and then it came out afterwards that they were gonna buy the team and then go here to the South Loop, because as soon as they broke ground, the team's evaluation would gain $1 billion. The team's evaluation.
$1 billion.
It was a Forbes article from like 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And and $1 billion. Yeah, and the Sox were around $1 billion. Their evaluation was around $1 billion then, so they would double in cost just with corporate money, marketing, all that. The money's right. This is America.
And the Bears wanted to leave because of the way that their stadium. So the city owns Soldier Field. And the way that it was going, the Bears still, they don't make any money off the field. They weren't going to allow them to put a roof on a stadium, all this other stuff. So the Bears bought out Arlington Park, which was the racetrack, tore down Arlington Park, and now they've got like 300 acres of land with nothing to do with, because now they're arguing with Arlington Park about taxes and prices and stuff like that, which eventually will get figured out. But I believe that this White Sox stadium will get built before the Bears stadium does.
Which is crazy to think about, just to say 4 months ago, if you would have said that.
Right.
And like I said before, this saves the team. The team won't move because of this. And stadium wise, I mean, if they do end up doing Arlington Heights 5-6 years from now, how could you say that there's a better sports town for watching a game than this?
Well, I could say it because there's towns with better teams inside of them. I mean, there's not a more beautiful city to watch a game in, but there's better places to go watch sports right now. The Chicago sports teams are just terrible.
And have been for too long.
Yeah. So and that's what I mean. Like this needs to associate with putting a team inside of it. Hopefully this actually associates with Jerry Reinsdorf selling the team, like a lot of people have suggested.
It's going to have to. I mean, that's why he's doing it. And then you sell it for that larger price tag and you walk off into the sunset, or limp off, whatever, waddle off into the sunset. Chicago is great.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah. I mean, and that's another reason why they're moving a Sox Park. It's southwest. So this is northeast from that park. The farther you go northeast from Sox Park, let's face it. I mean,
which is funny because it's really about 10 minutes from the other park.
Yeah, it is.
Off 290.
But
or off 90, I should say.
Chicago for you. There's a great movie called Widows. If you ever get a chance, Buck, you should watch it. You too, Combs. Not a lot of people didn't watch it. I don't know why. It's about it's an outfit that tries to, rob, I think it was like jewels or something like that. It doesn't really matter. But all the guys die and the widows take over and try to finish off the job. But they have a great scene in it where the guy drives. There's a congressman in it, and it's so great. And he drives down the street, and he goes from his great neighborhood that's beautiful to like a terrible neighborhood.
Yes.
And it's like 3 blocks. That's basically most of Chicago, Buck.
Jeremiah Murray, but what about all the families that plan their vacation to Burbank? Are you ready for Fitz gibberish?
Yes, I am ready.
Let's do some Fitz gibberish.
Gibberish. Yeah, you heard the man. It's a diatribe. It's a conspiracy theory. And yes, it's an island in the middle of unapologetic and sometimes inaccurate sports talk. But I think we did pretty good today. When it comes to understatements, it has not been a good calendar year for the Chicago White Sox, even New Park aside. That ranks pretty high on understatements. Vladimir Putin's Russian generals had a better couple of years. And I don't mean the ones who still have their heads. We sat here last year and listed the PECOTA rankings for the Sox and laughed that they were too low. They were going to win over 90 games in a bad division. It might be a dark horse to win the whole damn thing. This year, PECOTA gives the White Sox a Plutarskian chance of making the playoff.
Mr. Blutarski, 0.0.
Yes, you heard it there from Animal House.
February 6th.
0.0 chance of making the playoffs. The Sox lost a disappointing 101 games last season and probably should have lost more. If you said they were the most disappointing team in sports last year, neither of us would disagree, right, Combs? But
nope.
Heck, Combs isn't even a damn fan, and they made his face turn the same color as his hair. Then a couple of competent moves that shored up the starting rotation, even if the C steal happens. Not that they're going to have some dynamite starting rotation, but they have some competent pitchers who can at least eat up some innings this year. They traded Gregory Santos, their closer, most recently for two young outfielders who appear to be at least slightly above replacement level. There haven't been one out there for the White Sox uniform since the Obama administration. Dominic Fletcher looks pretty good. They even got the 69th pick in the draft, which gives them 5 out of the top 100 picks this year. Oh, and yes, as you heard, they might have a new badass stadium getting built. Then, on the Theo Vaughn show, thank you, Combs. Then, on the Theo Vaughn show this past weekend, that's the name of the show. It also probably happened this past weekend anyway. Trevor Bauer joined the show and said this.
Like, I just want to play. Like, that's where I'm at. Like, I'll play for league minimum and like earn my money based on incentives. Like, I don't care. Whatever the structure for the team is, like, that makes them most comfortable, like, it's fine with me.
You heard the man.
I just want to go play.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
like,
incentive based, right?
Yeah.
I'll
like,
show you.
If you sign me and like something's not going right and you don't like the reaction or you don't whatever, like, you can cut me. And then you don't have to bear the the brunt of signing this. Let's say it's a $10 million contract and something's not going right and you still have to pay the $10 million. I don't need that. Like, I want a job.
Ooh is right, Theo Vaughn. Ooh is right. Trevor Bauer. Gaze right here into these crazy pearly whites. You want a contract that is below your talents. You want it to be incentive laden and penalize you for playing poorly. You want the cheapest contract for a pitcher under 35-year-old with very little injury history and a Cy Young award. Sir, I give you Jerry Reinsdorf. Serendipity never found a better pair. The man fleeced this town with one of the most favorable stadium deals in the country. The man loves incentivized contracts like Donald Trump loves orange toner number 5. Or Hunter Biden loves doing crack naked while holding an automatic weapon. Jerry made his money. Jerry made his money originally as an IRS tax lawyer. For Christ's sake, he was born to do this for you. A player with a checkered past. Come on. He hired a manager who wasn't even alive. At least I'm not sure he was. and he walked a guy intentionally at a 1-2 count. Trevor, even Forrest Gump would know what this is.
I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is.
Thank you, Forrest. Thanks, Forrest. Yourself. Break down those walls of trepidation and wrap yourself in the Ben Gay Senate arms of Jer Bear Reinsdorf. Let him rip you off. Turn this dumpster fire of an organization around and birth your comeback, sir. I only have one question. Do you take out-of-country third-party checks or Bitcoin? Combs, take it away. You stuck this bug in my ear.
Biden snorts his Alzheimer's meds like Coke. Says Shanna Stiso-Tresk.
Maybe the comment of the day, Shanna.
It's 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, send her a shirt.
Send her a shirt. We've got to make some first. I just send her one of mine, I guess. It's I don't know. Just a blank white t-shirt. be about what you get now. But look, I don't disagree. Like, I like Trevor Bauer. I know, look, as we have waved goodbye to Tim Anderson and hello to Trevor Bauer in transition from knock him up to beat him up. Trevor Bauer did not do it. He was found innocent. He's proven his innocence. The fact that he doesn't get another opportunity would be surprising to me, especially if he's willing to play for league minimum and have a play to perform type contract. I'm with it. I was actually more surprised that he's wearing a wedding ring.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
He's married now?
He did
How did he find someone to marry him with all that stuff going on?
Yeah, I know. It is a little weird because not everything was above board. It was more like a Clevenger thing. Nothing was, and maybe he's less liable than I don't know what happened behind closed doors because there was no action taken. He
channeled his inner 50 Cent. I don't care what you heard about me. I'm a motherfucking PIMP.
Some weird stuff did happen that probably shouldn't have happened. Yeah, he probably went too far here or there. I mean, even Theo Vaughn says in the interview that the same woman that was reaching out to him tried to reach out to Theo Vaughn. They actually had a conversation, but Theo Vaughn kind of backed off and Ubered her home. He was on the road at the time, so
he didn't marry the crazy one. At least, says Shanna. Yeah, that's debatable if she married him while he was going through all this stuff.
Yeah, I know. I mean, who knows? I mean, I know it's not perfect, but what is perfect? I mean, if anybody had if anybody wanted an incentivized contract like Trevor Bauer, if you were still on social media, I'd send this to you. We're going to try to send this to you.
It never happened, Jeremiah. It never happened. He put out a whole video about how it never happened and how she had messages where she was sending to her friends that she was going to fake the whole thing.
Yeah, that was the problem with it. Yeah, that was the problem. There was some weird sex stuff going on. There was.
He wears a ring to have a more effective donkey punch.
He tries to bring us down and by saying that, oh, it happened or this happened or he beat her up. And then he slips a joke in there at the end. Yeah, a lot of that happened. Yeah, they saw a lot of those messages. That's why in the end she backed off. There were still some weird things going on. Yeah. There's some weird details in there with bruising or whatever there might be. I don't think that
he likes rough sex, but it was all consensual. She liked it too.
It wasn't from getting in an argument and beating somebody up. From what it sounded like. I don't know.
No, none of us know. None of us were there.
And public opinion sometimes,
but for the right amount of money,
public opinion can sometimes, move a guy to where he doesn't play anymore. Public opinion can do that. Like if it's obvious the guy did something, but somehow the court of law didn't come in. But it seemed like there was a lot of things going on both sides. It seemed like almost like a Johnny Depp, Amber Heard type situation there where, yeah, there's no and then when he went back and did defamation of character, she sort of dropped everything and they kind of bygones be bygones. No one's going to know exactly what happened, but all the microscope this was under, the amount of lawyers that this was under, the amount of money that was up in the air, and you're telling me that there's no civil actions lawsuit. There's nothing that's come from that. There's bad breakups sometimes. There's bad things that happen sometimes in relationships. Some of it is weird. There was a Deadspin article that said that, you know, the nurse that investigated it, that there was some bruising. You know, I don't know. It's very hard for me to understand, like, what is from, like you said, rough sex, what's not. I don't even want to get into this area about it.
Show me the money.
That's what it was about.
It seems that is. I feel really bad if it's not, but I don't know. In the end, this is you said no, it's true. I thought the whole Clevenger thing was really icky too. But
really icky.
He
what are you for?
It was very icky. Like Icky Woods. No. That seemed to be almost worse because some of that stuff actually happened.
He got blackballed for being so outspoken. A lot of players, you know, we were just having this conversation earlier.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that your little Facebook tiff.
Earlier
today.
Well, that was for the Travis Kelce thing. Which, yeah, I mean, we'll get into another. I'm trying to get him to come on the show to talk about it. Actually, I got into it on Facebook with a former Buffalo Bills player, Nate Turner, who, you know, him and one of his buddies on Facebook about Travis Kelce. They said Travis Kelce didn't get in trouble for what he did last night because he's white. And I just put a point across the point that it's about Travis Kelce's stature and how good he is at football is why he's not getting in trouble. If this was the 45th or 46th man on the roster, it's handled very, very differently. No matter what color their skin is, whether they're white or black. Adrian Peterson, Kareem Hunt, Antonio Brown. I can name you a whole list of black players. I can name you a whole list of white players who weren't good at their position. Let's talk Johnny Manziel. You want to talk about Tim Tebow?
Yeah,
guys who just weren't good at their position. They got blackballed too because they weren't good at their position. It has nothing to do with the fact of black or white or blah blah.
What did he want to happen? I don't get it. Did he want the Chiefs to like suspend him?
He should have been benched. Was his whole thing. He should have been benched right away and never seen the field again. And
you're gonna bench a Hall of Famer halfway through the Super Bowl
because he was angry about his only having one target in the first half.
He didn't run off the field with his shirt off.
Right.
Jumping.
And even after that, he got another opportunity, Antonio Brown did. He signed a contract after that. And then it got taken away because he got accused of rape. So it's what I'm saying. It's not about it. I hate when people do that, but I would like for Nate Turner to come on the show. So I've actually messaged him and given him the opportunity so we could have this conversation on the show. I think it would make for great content. I think it would make for us to have an educational conversation because you sometimes people I think look at things from one side of the fence and they don't sit on the middle and they don't listen to both sides and they just make things up. And just because I'm white, all of a sudden I don't know anything about racism.
How many times does a player yell at a coach during a game and he doesn't get pulled from the game? I mean, it happens enough.
I know where you're going with that, but if it was AJ Brown, it would have been handled the exact same way. Because AJ Brown is great at his job. He's a great wide receiver. Kareem Hunt kicked a woman in the stomach on camera.
Ray
and he's
Rice.
had 3 contracts since. Well, Ray Rice got blackballed. After
He
that.
did.
But it's because he wasn't very good at his job anymore. Same thing with Colin Kaepernick. We were having that conversation. He wasn't very good at his job anymore, and then he didn't want to be a part of the league.
Yeah,
that's why he got blackballed.
I do agree with that part, but he got blackballed before any of that happened. Kaepernick.
Well, when you start making a headache for millionaires, owners, they don't want to deal with the headache. That goes for any. That's why Johnny Manziel was pushed out of the league. It had nothing to do with Tim Tebow was pushed out of the league because he was religious and outspoken about being religious. Like it's part of what it is. They don't want the headache.
And
owners don't want that headache.
Yeah, and
he wasn't. Yeah, but you know what?
His
His last start in the NFL was a playoff game.
Yeah, where he threw a 5-yard pass to the beast who is Brandon Marshall, and he
won the playoff game prior to that. Like that's what I'm saying. Like you could say what you want, but if you win, you win. Do you care? Let me ask you this: do you care if the Bears go 16-0 or 17-0 now? And Justin Fields
and
only
Trevor Bauer is the starter.
No, but Justin Fields only has 2,000 yards passing, and he's got 16 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. No, the Bears are 16-0 or 17-0.
Yeah, who cares?
Exactly.
And that's a good point, though. That's a good point we kind of fell into. If Trevor Bauer's top 3 quarterback, is he playing football right now?
Yes.
I don't have a.
If he's a top 3 pitcher, he's playing baseball.
He is a top 3 pitcher. He won a Cy Young and was still pitching very well.
He's not a top 3 pitcher in the game right now. He fell off a lot. He fell off quite a bit. He got when he went to Tokyo. He got hammered. When he went to Japan last year, he got hammered.
That's after all this stuff had happened. He won a Cy Young. I mean, and then was pitching really good for the Dodgers. As you look up his stats, he was
his last season with the Dodgers, he was not very good. I remember that distinctly, and that's why they were so okay with walking away from it. It was 2021. He was 8-5 that year.
Yeah, but I don't care. But don't tell me his win and loss record. I mean, tell me what.
He had a. I'm trying to look it up right now. It's the first thing that popped up on
2.59 ERA.
Okay, so yeah, he had a 2.59 ERA.
That's fantastic.
He started 17 games that year. He got hurt. He got hurt towards the end of the year.
No, he didn't. That's when they pulled him. They pulled him halfway through the year. Oh yeah, they pulled him halfway through the year. Yeah.
That's you're right. You're right. Yeah. They pulled him.
2.59 ERA is extremely good.
No, you're right. Yeah.
And
I'm wrong.
1.73 ERA the year before.
Yeah.
Guy, and I mean, it's hard not to. Yeah. I mean,
that was the COVID season, right?
Had 137 strikeouts in basically a half a season.
He had 2 complete games in 2022, which is now it's unheard of.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I think a Cy Young winner that puts him in the conversation for top 5 pitcher, Cy Young Award winner, and then the following
in your rotation, not in all of baseball. You don't believe he's a top 5 pitcher in all of baseball.
He won the Cy Young. He won the Cy Young. Then the next year he had a 2.59 ERA with 137 strikeouts.
He didn't win the Cy. He won the Cy Young in 2020. I mean, it was the COVID year, so it was shortened. I think he only pitched 11 games that year, but.
Yeah, he pitched 11 games, 73 innings, but still won the Cy Young. I still won it. I mean, the next year he's got a 2.59 ERA. Had to be a top 10 there. At least a top,
I love how you bring up the last 2 years, but not the year before that in 2019, where he had a 6.39 ERA and 7 starts and 10 starts with the damn Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah,
4.48 ERA. He's averaging right now a 3.79 ERA. The last 2 years definitely helped him.
2018 though had a 2.21 ERA. I mean, yeah, maybe he's not a top 5 pitcher. Maybe he's a top 10 pitcher. I'm saying if he's that,
even if he's top 20, he's worth it, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying if he's in football, he's playing.
Oh yeah,
a lot more pitchers than it's hard to compare.
He's got a job. Yeah, for sure. But baseball's run by a bunch of freaking fuddy-duddies who want people to just stay off their lawn. I mean, that's just how it goes.
He led the league in drone accidents one year.
Yeah, he got hurt by a drone. Didn't he cut his finger on it or something when he went to go grab it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, I'm not saying he might not.
Remember when
he might
Sammy
be a
Sosa
problem.
got poked in the eye by a feather in his pillow in a hotel and he couldn't play one game?
He sneezed and hurt his back, remember?
Yeah, that too. Oh.
Sammy.
Sammy Sosa.
They
should have let him take a steroid for that.
Sammy.
Vince
McMahon. But yeah, I mean, I think and the NFL, he's a top 5 quarterback. He's playing. Even a top 10 quarterback, he's playing. I mean, look at Deshaun Watson. I don't know if there's a lot of, that whole thing was weird. You know more about it than me, but I don't know if there's a lot of daylight between what happened in both cases. And he's back playing. Yeah, he was out for a little while. I mean, I think we'll see Trevor Bauer again. Got cork.
I think we should see Trevor Bauer again. I think he should. I also believe that the woman who accused him should go to prison for as long as he would have had he been found guilty, and she should have to replenish his salary from those 2 years that he's missed as well. But
he was making $42 million a year, so that's gonna be tough.
Well, hey, guess what, lady? You know what? I pay child support as more than freaking 50% of my check. Jeez. You could pay restitution too. You know what I mean? Like it's how it goes. You do something stupid. She committed a crime, but she's nothing's gonna happen to her other than the public shame that Trevor Bauer has given her.
Yeah,
that's horse shit.
It really is. If that's the truth, like you don't know like where her lies began and maybe some kind of abuse started. Again, he wasn't convicted of anything.
Yeah,
and sometimes that doesn't matter. Like if certain things happen, it doesn't really matter if you're convicted or not. You're blackballed, like we just discussed. But I don't know if this, goes into that. But. Are the Cubs going to sign Cody Bellinger or not? What's going on? We're 10 days away from the first spring training game. Something's got to give here,
and
right?
None of the Boris clients have signed.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, we did this in 2019, when Dallas Keuchel didn't sign until, a former Cy Young Award winner didn't sign until, halfway through the season, played not in 90 games, but was there for 90 games with the Atlanta Braves in 2019. There's a couple other guys that didn't get signed until halfway through the year.
Yeah. I don't know if they sign up before spring training. I don't know if any of the Boris clients sign before spring training. I know the Cubs are linked to 2 of them, in Chapman and Bellinger. They've never done a long-term deal with a Boris client. So I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, it's frustrating as a baseball fan to watch these guys, whether or not they're signing with the Cubs. It's just frustrating as a baseball fan to watch what these guys, these big name free agents, Boris agents, have done when Shohei Ohtani worked out his $700 million deal before Christmas.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that you can't work out your 6 to 8 year deal for Cody Bellinger for $200 million?
Yeah,
because Boris wants to wait. Like, stop.
And now Anaheim's in the ring sniffing around, and
nobody else is in the ring. I guarantee you. Not with Bellinger.
Anaheim is.
Not with Bellinger. I think anything Bellinger, not Cubs related, is all fluff to try to get the Cubs to budge. I think right now they're just in a dick measuring contest, basically. And I don't even think it's Bellinger. From everything that I'm hearing is that Bellinger wants to sign the contract with the Cubs already. It's Boris telling him no.
I mean, what? So you're putting all of this on Boris. None of it is the guy who hired Boris.
Well, yeah, it's his fault for hiring. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, of course he's going to give him free reign to be like, hey, if you think you can give me more money, all right, give me more money. Wouldn't you?
Yeah,
so some of it's on Bellinger for sure.
Could some of it be 2020, 33 games, 239 batting average, 2021, 39. Wait, no, that's not games. Games played. 2020 56 games, so almost the whole season, 239 batting average. 2021 batted 165 in 95 games. 144 games in 2022, batted 210, only had 106 hits, 68 RBIs. Whew.
Last year he had a bounce back year. I mean, he hit 307 last year, 308.
Yeah, no, great. Had a great year for a lefty. Played in 130 games, but 130 and up,
in a hitter's ballpark,
and up, I'm good.
I mean, it's a big difference between hitting at Wrigley and hitting in LA. The ball does not travel at night in LA. The ball travels everywhere in the summertime at Wrigley. It's very left-handed hitter friendly. There's lots of things, but it's a matter of these guys just signing
with a guy like that. I mean, that's maybe why the Cubs are balking.
I've told you before, a 6-year deal does not scare me for Cody Bellinger, especially because you're going to have everybody's got opt-outs now. Everybody's got opt-outs now. So 6-year deal, either whether it's a club or a player opt out after 4, absolutely. But if the reports are true that he wants 10 and 300, like even Jeremiah said, he wants 300. That's the report I'm hearing too. He wants 10 and 300. You're not, if they give him a 10-year, $300 million deal, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, you need more history here. I mean, 210, 165, 239, and it's not like, I mean, he had some decent years before that. He did have a year where he went through.
He won the MVP.
Yeah, I mean, he did have some really good years before that too, but
I do believe that that wrist injury took longer for him to bounce back from. I get that, especially for a hitter. I understand the wrist thing, and maybe he did bounce back, but you're right. You've got to use that. You got to be like, look, you had one good year.
Yeah.
We're going to give you whatever it is, 6 to 8 years, but we need an opt-out after 4 or 5, because if you get hurt again and you're going back to what you were 2-3 years ago, then we can't keep paying you past this point.
At 165, you can't.
Yes.
He won an MVP, and so did
Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant was on his rookie contract. Chris Bryant got paid like $750,000 that year.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. But again, that's the same and that's why for me, same reason, because right after that year, everybody's like, "Oh, you gotta just give him the contract now. Give Chris Bryant the contract now." Imagine had they given Chris Bryant that 10-year deal.
Yeah, exactly. You might be in the same situation here.
Yeah, you'd be looking at, God, we still got 3 more years of Chris Bryant. Injury-prone Chris Bryant. And I love Chris Bryant. Don't get me wrong. I love
he's a good
the
player.
Kid. He's a good person.
I think he has
a good
some
player.
good seasons still in him.
But I just, you can't give a guy like that long of a contract. So no, I'd be out on Cody Bellinger for 300. I'd be out on him for 10 years. Again, I mean, maybe you can give him a 10-year contract as long as you do have those opt-outs after 4 or 5.
Going to be,
you know what I mean? But yeah,
until he's 38. Yeah, it's tough.
So it's going to be interesting to see. I don't know if any of these guys sign before spring training, but what I do know, it's time for us to get out of here.
All right.
All right.
Spending too much time together.
Wow, that's rough. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Till next Monday, same bat time, same bat channel. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies.